Can non-US people invest in your syndication or fund offering? Today we're going to talk about that. My name is Tilden Moschetti. I'm a syndication attorney with the Moschetti Syndication Law Group, specializing in Regulation D, Rule 506B, and 506C offerings. Let's face it, we live in a very international, interconnected world with investors located throughout the globe in every region. Now, if it was the case that the United States said, no, we don't want any foreign money coming in order to make our sponsors of syndications and funds more wealthy, well, that would be a darn shame, because there sure are a lot of investors out there in other parts other than the U.S. and a lot of capital to invest and grow wealth here within this country. But fortunately for us, investors from non-U.S. places can invest into your syndications and offerings. So if you've put together a Regulation D offering, those investors from non-U.S. places are actually coming in through a different rule, a rule called Regulation S, which allows investors to invest if they're not located in the United States. Now, the rules are very similar to those within Regulation D, except for two minor points. So, under Regulation S, we are not as concerned whether or not they're an accredited investor or not. So if you have a Rule 506B offering, it's not that we do not count the people who are non-accredited investors if they're not in the United States. Likewise, if we have a Rule 506C offering, we don't need to get a verification of accredited status of that investor. Now, we do need to make sure when we're doing a 506B offering, however, that advertisements for people not within the U.S. is possible, but it cannot be something where the advertisement came into the U.S. We need to take a lot of measures to make sure that the advertisements made are very specifically to non-U.S. people. Because if a U.S. person were to see an advertisement and it's a 506B offering, then it's suddenly a big problem, because they've already broken the rules. You've now had a general solicitation inside of a rule of a 506B offering, which isn't supposed to happen. So we do need to make sure of that. The second thing is on the resalability of the security itself. Under Regulation S, they are limited to not be able to resell their security for 1 year. So we need to make sure that that is known to the investor as well, the non-U.S. investor. You cover those two things and you make sure that those are in your private placement memorandum. And the good news is, yes, you can take investor money from those non-U.S. people. It's something that I talk with my clients about very regularly. It comes up in nearly every context, with sometimes just one investor and sometimes a whole bunch of investors. Now, we can't guarantee that that raising money from those non-U.S. investors won't violate the rule in the other country. I don't practice in any other country other than the United States, and I don't know the securities laws of any other country. So there is that caveat, and it's a good idea if you're targeting a specific other country to speak with an attorney about those rules as well, to make sure that you're not going to run afoul of their rules. But under the U.S. rules, you will be fine. So my name is Tilden Moschetti. I am a Regulation D securities attorney specializing in Rules 506B and 506C.